We are started. It is Monday, October 23rd, 2023. I'd like to welcome everyone to What It Takes. I'm really going to take off this screen, but I needed you all to see this new photo shot by one of my clients. She brought me in for a photo shoot and she did an awesome job. If you are feeling the photo, let me know. I appreciate it. I honestly think I look better in real life. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not I'm not gonna lie. Another episode of What It Takes. Let's get into it. Cause I really don't know how long I'm gonna be on here today. I say that all the time. But I do appreciate you all for checking in each and every whenever you check in. It starts on Monday, but your week might start on Tuesday. You might see this on Wednesday. You might see this in a year from now. I appreciate you just taking the time to check it out. Let's quickly get into the housekeeping, guys. Remember to like, share, comment, hit the notification button, subscribe. I appreciate each and everything it is that you all do for me. That's the ticket of entry, though. That's your ticket. I appreciate it. Appreciate you for purchasing the ticket, giving me the view. Remember, it starts with me every Wednesday at 12:30. That's my guy, Joel Simmons, Tenacity Foundation. You can find that on YouTube. It starts with me. It's the truth. I think it starts and it ends. The Alpha and the Omega. And then we have Community Beacon each and every Friday at 6:30. Excellent show. We showed a rerun on Friday. Go check that one out if you didn't catch it before. We talk about balance. We talk about Joel's really the star of the show on that one. He talks about partnership. Getting into business or starting a business, and then your partner, your significant other being a part of it, family as well. So I need you all to check that out. All right, let's get into, when I had this up, I had to do some things with my microphone. However, let's get into our real estate news and opportunity. It will behoove me to put that up there. Let's stop the scrolling. You all already know what to do. I thought here was some interesting news. This is the first one. It says that 1 in 5 couples include a home fund in wedding registry. It goes on to say that 20% of couples ask for a home down payment money, and that amount has risen over 55% over the past 5 years. It makes sense. Let's see. For a $350,000 home with an assumed 20% down payment. Now, down payments are more on the 3.5% to 5% side, but let's say you want to put down 20% down payment. If you have it, why not? I mean, some people would tell you do this and do that. Listen, most people don't want to get into the financial game like that. That's why the 401k plans for work are excellent ideas. That's why buying a home is an excellent idea. I think sometimes we get caught up in the social media or whatever's the culture of where it's, if you don't need to put, if you got you only need 3.5% down. But listen, put whatever it is that you need to put down that makes it make sense. You will see a return on it, and you're not constantly checking on it. Everyone's life can't just be. Now you should spend some time on fiscal responsibility, and of course the more you pay attention to it, Peter Drucker says the more what you anybody says what you pay attention to can grow, right? Or you can do better with it. So, but if you have 20% down, if you can come up with it's 350, because what's going to happen is you're going to have a better monthly mortgage payment because you're not going to be paying on the entire 350. You'll be paying on 70,000. That'll bring your mortgage payment down to 2334. that might make sense to you. And then when you think about it, as one of my real estate coaches used to talk about, and when you think about it, with interest rates where they are, and hopefully they will go down, two things will occur. Number one is that you're not going to be paying the 7.5% interest or whatever the interest rate on the full on 16.5%, because you got 20%, so 16. So can you do better than 7.5% if you really tried? But this is passive. So passively, you're not paying an extra 7.5% on whatever it is that you don't put down, the remainder of it. Does that make sense? If not, put it in the comments and I will break it down for you. So there's things to think about, but that monthly payment gets you down to $23.34. That might make it more affordable for you, or you can get something bigger and better. I say this makes sense. You were going after a 350 home. You got 20% down, especially if it came as a gift, and you can give gifts and they will be non-taxable. I think it's up to 16,000. Maybe it talks about it in this. No, it doesn't. They should have. Okay, so that was that. I think that's an awesome thing to ask for if you are getting married. I just did a a post about generational wealth. We often make it convoluted. There's this thing that people are chasing, generation. I want generational wealth and etc. And we've made it more than what it actually is, right? Like, people used to pass down property. That's generational wealth. If you can pass down property, if you can pass down land, one of the key fundamental principles for most people, and when I say most people, I mean like 95% of people, is marriage. Marriage is a great way to establish wealth when you think about it. And actually, the concept of love it's pretty new. Before, marriage was about, if you got into the elites, it was strategic, and even at the bottom, it's strategic. You strategically want to pass down your genes. You strategically want to have a legacy, and so marriage was a part of that. Being help. So imagine not paying. Marriage is the way to pass through wealth, and then you can start it with the home fund. I want to make it as simple and as clear as possible. And then we get into the second real estate news and opportunity, which is, it says more Californians are bypassing Texas and moving to Florida. It says in 2021, 37,000 were moving to Florida from California. It's now at 50,000. And then, New York to Florida has always been the connection, or that northeastern. People come from the northeast, but this California is starting to grow. I would imagine in California, like moving to Austin is an interesting move for them. Austin has a lot of tech. It's definitely changed in the last 3 to 5 years. We saw Elon make a move to Texas. There's a lot of pros and cons to moving to Texas. I've been to Texas several times, San Antonio, Austin, and then of course, and moving to Florida. There's pros and cons to both of them. Both of the pros are that they are, they're the taxes, there's no state taxes. The difference, I think, between the huge difference between Florida and Texas for me is building and real estate. Texas is huge. Texas is huge. There's so much land outside of Texas. The building, I know this for a fact. However, the building restrictions and codes are a lot easier in Texas. You're going to find cheaper property. You're going to find more bang for your buck, specifically if you're moving, if you're thinking about being around for Florida, because for most people, Florida is is going to be like South Florida. So Southeast and Southwest Florida. And then, of course, you got Orlando. Everything else is a different kind of Florida. Once you start to get to Central Florida and North Florida, it's a different Florida. Jacksonville is more close to home. But so if you're moving from California and with all that money going to Jacksonville, you're going to get a lot of bang for your buck. However, it's not going to be Southeast or Southwest Florida or Orlando by any stretch of the imagination. And progress does move north. So if we're talking about real estate opportunities, et cetera, like Jacksonville in the next 30, maybe 20, 30 years is going to be similar to what Palm Beach or and South are now. If you want to be kind of in the middle, Port St. Lucie, Vero Beach, et cetera, are starting to grow as well, looking really good. And then we have Orlando. So, and now we have the train that goes from Miami to Orlando, the Bright Line. So I think most Californians, when they're talking about moving to Florida, they're really thinking about Southeast and Southwest Florida. However, if you're not one of the richest Californians, Jacksonville and a little north of Palm Beach, so going into Martin County, not Martin County and Port St. Lucie County, Fort Pierce is going to be interesting. Yeah. And right now, Southeast Florida, when we're talking about even Palm Beach, right now, I feel like billionaires' playground. They're like in a candy shop buying like everything. True story. Go and check out, see what's actually happening in Palm Beach. Like, I don't even know if we can say quiet as it's kept. I mean, they just bought out the Singer Island, the Ocean Reef Mall. That's going to be something different. There's a lot going on. You can't stop progress. But you can get it. You can get along with it, but there's no getting in the way of it. All right. Last week, we're moving on. Our topic was hard work. This week, we're going to talk about change. We're going to talk about change. Had some thoughts surrounding it. It's like my treadmill or my cardio thoughts, gym thoughts, really. And so I was thinking about just being in the gym, and I've went from, negative, probably 10, 11% body fat. I've been, I probably was like at high 30s at one point in time. I went up, I went down, I went up, I've went down, just depending on, where I was at in life. There's different stages. And I thought it was interesting because you do tend to be at different stages in the gym. Some days, for some stages you want to bulk, you want to get big and strong, and you want to lift heavy weights, deadlifting double your body weight and chest, you want to lift 225, 315, whatever those benchmarks are. And then sometimes you just, I want to see abs. And that's a whole different ball game and et cetera. But each time it required work. And I don't think, the change required work. And so I was in the gym and I was doing bicep curls. And I'm like, and I started laughing. And this is a recurring thought. I'm like, this is the craziest thing that people do. Like, I'm paying for hard labor. I always say, like, if my grandfather saw me paying to go into the gym, lift heavy weights, exhaust myself, come home, if you ever had delayed onset muscle syndrome, DOMS, like the stiffness and the pain, I get cramps no matter how hydrated I am. If I have a really tough leg day, which leg day is always tough, and leg day is almost every other day, right? It's supposed to be. That's what they say. Like I get you get muscle cramps, like there's these things, but because you're tearing the muscle, that's how it grows. Like you're tearing your muscle. You have to exert more energy than what your body has in order for you to grow. And I'm laughing. Like, I know people are staring at me like, what is this guy laughing about? Like, what is he listening to? And it's just me listening to myself about doing this. And you're not going to see change in the gym after a week. Like, you really don't notice it for most people. You might go, you really need 3 months. You need a quarter. You need 12 weeks in order to really see the change, and for people to notice it. Right now, you're going to notice it immediately, but a lot of that noticing is just going to be pain. I remember when I first got into the gym, there was like this one vein that I could see in my arm, and that was like I used to say, yeah, that's my motivation, because you have to find the motivation. I had to find the motivation at the time. At this point, it's just naturally in me just to be a gym person. But as I was creating the habit, I had to find something that was going to continue pushing me forward to continuously go. Here's the thing, is that I've tended to be consistent with it over time. Like, I don't even know. I think we started in maybe 2008, 2009. Shouts out. I always give Officer Thurlow his credit. He really taught me how, as an adult, to, the things I needed to do in the gym, or gave me a format or a model to follow. And I've been going on since then, because it's consistent. It's become a lifestyle for me at this time. And then not only do you have what's going on in the gym, but what I consider like 80% of the work is your diet, because you got a lot of people who go to the gym, work out pretty hard, but they don't have any change. Some people don't work out real hard. I think some people, it's like but I'm just thinking about, if I thought about it this way, because I had to change, how tough it was. And it was tough. It was tough. I got stories for days about when I thought I hurt something or tore something, especially at the beginning, because it is painful at the beginning. It's painful when you stop for a long period of time and then you go back. Like, the change, to get to the change, it's painful. And so that's why you see people go for maybe a week and they stop. People will go for like 30 days. You heard my dog snoring. They go for 30 days and they stop. Some people even go for 12 weeks and then they stop, because it's like this. It's mentally, even at 12 weeks going, knowing you're supposed to go, it's so easy to fall back to where you started. That's change. And you can use this for any point of life. It's like business. It's relationships. It's the gym, health. It's across the board, especially once you reach a certain age. Now, here's the thing, is that for each person, the standards are different. So this is when you start talking about change. In order to change, you really have to raise your standards. You have to raise your standards. What's your standard now, and where's your standard going to be? And then you have to become that standard. I'm hoping you all caught that. You have to become that standard. And that way, if going to the gym 3 or 4 times a week is your standard, you're going to figure out a way to make it there 3-4 times a week. There's people who have been going to the gym or have been very active. That's why athletes, they're there all the time. It doesn't mean anything to them, because if they were an athlete at 5, because that's how they thought it was supposed to be, or in their life, that's their standard, then when they hit 20, 30, 40, it's like that. You got people who've been in the gym. It was a guy who used to go, real good friend of mine. He was 80 something years old, but and he was there like 5, I think he almost did 7 days a week, resting heart rate at like, I think it was 48, 40s in the 40 or low 40s or something. So it's like, where is our standard? But it goes back to this work thing, this change is like, if your standard is where it's at and you want to change it, it's very, very difficult to change your standard. It's very difficult to change if you don't change your standard. And you have to think of the gym and your standard as a lifestyle adjustment. Don't do diets. Don't do fads. Find something as to where I want to be. I want to be, I don't know, 15% body fat. What does that look like? What are other people with 15% body fat doing? And then make that your standard. Make that in your mind and become it now. Become that at 25 or 30% body fat. Because what that allows is for you to become uncomfortable. Like you have to become uncomfortable at where you are. And you're probably already uncomfortable. But it has to be to the point of where I want to change. I think that's it. I want to ask you a question. What change are you working on? How can I support? It could be lifestyle. It's all lifestyle. It could be finances. It could be health. It could be real estate. Like what changes are you looking to make? What are you looking to make your standard? And I guarantee you I can point you in the right direction. I guarantee I can point you in the right direction. Other than that, I love you guys. I will see you